Nigeria commits to review of regulatory framework and operations in telecom sector to meet global best practices.
Plans underway to regulate electricity tariff across bands.
Where are you going to? National Assembly continues engagement on tax reforms.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall discuss safety on roads in the country.
Well, you know, Ian Ray, road safety is a big deal worldwide. Every year, 1 million people, more than that, are said to lose their lives on, due to road-related incidents, and Nigeria is no exception. In Nigeria, the numbers are not any better. 10,000 people lost their lives on Nigerian roads in 2023 alone.
These challenges, of course, are made even more severe by issues such as inadequate infrastructure, weak law enforcement, and definitely insufficient public education on road safety.
Now, several factors have been mentioned as triggers for the high fatality figures on Nigerian roads. Now, some of them are poor road conditions, careless driving, disregard for traffic laws, inadequate safety precautions, and poor road maintenance on major highways, especially those connecting major cities like Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt.
Many policies and initiatives by the government target a reduction in these numbers, in spite of the seeming rise in fatalities. One of them is the Nigeria Road Safety Strategy 2021 to 2030.
Now, this initiative has set out a roadmap for improving road safety with key objectives that include reducing road traffic fatalities by 50%. That's by 2030.
So true. Of course, a National Road Safety Advisory Council was also introduced to coordinate efforts across various government agencies and stakeholders to ensure that road safety goals are met.
And several international partnerships and collaborations have enabled the country gain access to resources, technical expertise, and best practices in road safety management. There are also plans to improve on these collaborations.
Agencies such as the National Union of Road Transport Workers, that's talking about the NURTW, and the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Workers, NATO, and the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, RTEAN, are also in partnership with the Federal Road Safety Corps to help address some of the challenges on our roads.
Now we have a panel of guests who would join us shortly to speak on the state of Nigerian roads. So let me on that note welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria. I am Victor Azu.
I'm Henry John. I also welcome you to the program. We're reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. It's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And of course, this Friday is a unique one. It's the last day in the month of February. It ushers in the weekend. Victor, any plans?
Well, perhaps we can hatch one behind the scenes after the program.
I won't be part of that plan because, Victor, anyways, that's off camera. All right, but I'm sure I'll be part of Musa plan, who is ready for the morning news, because I think I'm safer with him. Musa, good morning to you.
Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
Here's the news. President Bola Tinubu has assured that the telecom sector's regulatory framework and operations will be reviewed to reflect global best practices with a greater focus on protected infrastructure. President Tinubu spoke at a meeting with an Airtel delegation led by its chairman, Sunil Bhatti Mittal, at the State House. The president, while recalling his discussion with the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, who visited Nigeria earlier, commended the openness, readiness, and confidence of the Airtel. He said the entire ecosystem will be further examined, and if there is anything Nigeria can learn and copy from India, his government is ready to do so. The president noted that the tax reforms will create a more favorable climate for investors. The Minister of Communications, Innovations and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, pointed out that the approval of the president for the protection of fiber optic and undersea cables as critical national assets will further stimulate growth in the industry, assuring that the Office of the National Security Advisor has started implementing and enforcing the law. The minister and the chairman of Airtel briefed State House correspondents after their meeting with the president. The Nigerian government has signed a landmark cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia's Halal Products Development Company. This strategic partnership aims to establish Nigeria as a leading player in the global halal market, valued at $7.7 trillion. The agreement will facilitate investment, technical cooperation, and market access across key sectors, including food production, pharmaceuticals, finance, and livestock for both countries. Vice President Kashim Shettima, represented by Deputy Chief of Staff to the President Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, emphasized that this partnership represents a game-changing opportunity to transform Nigeria into a global halal economy powerhouse. According to Vice President Shettima, the collaboration is an important step in the ambition to not only tap into the lucrative halal market, but to establish Nigeria as a leading global player. The agreement will be executed by HPDC, a subsidiary of the Saudi Public Investment Fund. Previously, Vice President Shettima highlighted the economic potential of the sector, noting that increasing Nigeria's halal exports to OIC markets from 2% to 6% could boost the country's GDP by $540 million, while strategic import substitution could add nearly $1 billion by 2027. Now to the National Assembly. The National Assembly is pushing forward with President Tinubu's vision for a fair, transparent, and efficient tax system. The goal is to drive economic growth, encourage investment, and ultimately improve the standards of living for all citizens. Stakeholders have been brainstorming with lawmakers over the past 3 days to develop a legislative framework. Remove Speaker Now, uncertainty gripped the Lagos House of Assembly yesterday as news spread that the incumbent Speaker, Right Honorable Moji Shola Miranda, had been stripped of her security details. This sudden withdrawal of security personnel left both the Speaker and the legislative building vulnerable. Speaker Modashiru Obasa subsequently arrived at the Assembly complex with heavily armed personnel and forced his way into the Speaker's office. Lawmakers were seen gathered under a hut in the garden discussing the situation as the heavy presence of police personnel deployed in and around the House of Assembly complex created a tense atmosphere. Loyalists and supporters of the removed Speaker Obasa arrived in large numbers in several commercial buses, singing and pledging loyalty to the former Speaker. The situation at the House of Assembly remains uncertain, with many awaiting further developments. Now, the federal government has unveiled policy documents aimed at driving reforms in the power sector. Plans are underway to regularize electricity tariffs across bands, ensuring fairness for all customers. Minister of Power Adebayo Adilabo, who unveiled the documents, including the National Integrated Electricity Policy and Integrated Resource Plan, assured that the federal government will introduce a targeted subsidy for vulnerable customers and ensure reforms for all distribution companies to achieve efficient service delivery. This move aims to address disparities in the current billing system and encourage investment in the power sector. Now to Ramadan, the Sultanate Council Sokoto has announced that the search for the new moon of Ramadan 1446 after the Hijrah will begin on Friday, 28 February 2025. In a statement signed by the Wazirin Sokoto and Chairman Advisory Committee of Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council of Sokoto, Professor Sambawali Junaid, Muslims are encouraged to look out for the new moon and report any sightings to their nearest district or village head. This will facilitate onward communication to the Sultan of Sokoto and President General, Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, for formal announcement. Well, that's the news for now. Good Morning Nigeria continues shortly with Ehire and Victor after the break.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Show off your best skin this Harmattan with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion. Now with 5-in-1 complete care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying out. With precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin. Love your skin this Harmattan with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa 5-in-1 complete care.
Sometimes great things are worth waiting for. And for those who crave and wait, the experience is truly memorable. Introducing the new Dano evaporated milk, a creamy, tasty, nourishing way to start your day.
Enjoy the taste of the new Dano evaporated milk.
Very creamy and delicious. Now that's worth the wait.
Taste it, the richness so amazing. For your cereal, tea and purple, Dano evaporated milk.
Try Dano Full Cream and Dano Cool Cow Evaporated Milk, a great addition to your favorite meals. And taste the Dano difference.
The new Happic sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with Happic sachet.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Milo Energy Snacks, snack of future champions.
Have you heard the news? The federal government of Nigeria, through its direct benefit transfer program, has started the disbursement of 75,000 naira per household in 3 installments of 25,000, 25,000, 25,000 naira. Each recipient must have a validated national identification number, NIN, to receive the payment on behalf of their household members. To benefit, your household must be in the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households in Nigeria. The federal government's direct benefit transfer program is helping to reduce the effect of suffering while promoting financial and economic inclusion for the poor and vulnerable population in Nigeria.
Sunana Safiya Ismail, ni daga Gwagwalada Area Council, a karkashin Giri, ina da yara 7 da mijina. Sana'ana sadda itace. Akwai damuwomi da yawa, rashin kudi. Da musanta zaka ga itace zai kare, ba kudi ne zaka siya wani. An kira ni, ayi Safiya Ismail, nace yes. Come for your benefits. At Angwando do Gwagwalada. Suka bani ATM din immediately now withdraw kudin. Amman gaskiya kudin ya zo at the right time.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, in collaboration with the National Social Investment Programs Agency, National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, and the National Cash Transfer Office.
صدق الله العظيم المتوحد في الجلال بكمال الجمال تعظيما وتكبيرا.
Ramadan, the blessed month, is upon us once again, and your indispensable companion in Ramadan, Sahur Life on NTA, is back bigger and better.
Our theme for this 21st edition of the program is Navigating Difficult Times, the Help of Allah. And our team of erudite scholars are poised to offer insightful tips on dealing with life's difficulties.
Our companion segment, including Nasiha, Women Angle, Living with the Glorious Quran, are back bigger and better.
The popular quiz segment is now reloaded to accommodate more winners, both online and offline.
Come and partner with us at NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the unity station, as we strive to bring you this year's episode of the program.
For donations and sponsorship, contact the General Manager, NTA Channel 5 Abuja, Old Parade Ground, Area 10, Garki, Abuja.
You can also contact us on 080-3314-7812
or 080-3568-8394.
080-3380-6162. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly as you contribute to the success of this soul-lifting program.
Sahur Live on NTA, your indispensable companion in Ramadan.
ولك الشكر يا الله على ما أنعمت به وأوليت.
This Saturday, live on Sporty TV. Watch live on Sporty TV. Brought to you by SportyBet. Play with champions.
It's time for the papers. Let's get right in.
Chukwudi Okolie Ogbaja is with us again this morning. Chukwudi, good to see you. Good morning to you.
I am happy to be here, my dear. Good morning. Victor?
Good morning.
It's a bit cooler. There was a drizzle.
There was a drizzle.
Yes,
At least
actually,
that got to me yesterday.
Somebody called my daughter from, this road to Kaduna that it was raining cats and dogs on that access. It's going to go round.
Let's get into the papers for lack of time, and I'll begin with the leadership from here. Now the lead story reads: 45 days after Obasa stages comeback as Lagos Speaker, says he was never impeached, presides over 4 members. You remain impeached, 36 lawmakers insist. Speaker Miranda's security restored, and it's a betrayal of democracy. That's according to Atiku. And then just beside the nameplate, bandits kill 10, abduct 6 villagers in Niger, page 7. Ramadan, Muslims look out for new moon. Okay. And finally on the front page of the leadership, DSTV, GoTV, maintain current prices. FCCPC directs multi-choice. And that is on page 20. Now let's take the nation quickly. A number of stories, of course, are shared between both dailies. But let's look at this. Telecom tariff hike necessary to save jobs, sustain economy. I think that's credited to, because it is picture that I see there, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani. That story is on page 2. Federal government to clear pension backlog in 3 months. Natasha seeks transparent investigation by Senate panel, page 3. And Glow slashes call rates to all networks, retains bonus, page 4. All right, Ian Ray.
All right, let's see what the blueprint is offering this morning. Of course, the Lagos Assembly crisis is on all the papers this morning. It's also right here, but captioned differently. On the blueprint, we have, like Rivers, Obasa leads 4 lawmakers at plenary, insists, I remain speaker. Riders, Miranda security details withdrawn, restored. Drama. 36 lawmakers vow to stand on her mandate. Fault party leaders. All right. And above that, we have the new petrol price reduction. You want to find out what it is at the nearest filling station, to you. Away from that, below the picture story, we have Nigeria signs pact with Saudi Arabia to boost $7.7 trillion halal economy. Agreement to attract FDIs, diversify economy. That's according to the federal government. And below that, we have FCT IRS generated 262 billion naira in 2024, 43.8 billion naira in January. Fantastic. That's on page 7, and that's credited to Ango. Below that, federal government, states, local governments share 1.703 trillion naira in January. Details on page 6. And above the masthead, Governor Idris conducts mass wedding for 300 couples in Kebbi. That's on page 19. Let's see the Daily Trust quickly now. The Lagos Assembly crisis is also right here, and it's talking about Obasa Miranda claiming speakership. Below that, we can see a picture story of the former president and the current vice president. It says, after 21 months, Buhari relocates from Daura to Kaduna. Below that, band B customers not paying enough for electricity. That's according to the minister. And Sultan urges traders to reduce food prices ahead Ramadan. All right. Just before I let Chukwudi take over, I'm not really a fan of Aku, but this is interesting here. He says Governor Idris conducts mass wedding for 300 couples in Kebbi. And the question is, will he fund the honeymoon? I'm sure Chukwudi has the answers to that. All right, Chukwudi.
I'm a goodie oldie when it comes to matrimony. And if I may beat my own chest, we have not done badly, charity and So, The point is this: you're talking about honeymoon. The real marriage starts after they've all dispersed.
Yeah.
Then you begin to face the realities. Make a live there, you know.
But the question of whether weddings should be funded or not is still, subject to a lot of debates here and there. But I mean, let's just look at the real stories on the papers this morning.
Yes. Obasa and Miranda are still doing the rounds. In fact, the news should be between Miranda and Obasa with the Lagos State House of Assembly. You know, the man presided over plenary yesterday with how many people?
Four
Just
people.
4. And 36 are still shouting themselves hoarse out there. You still remain rejected. And you say, what's happening? What's amiss in Lagos? I look at Lagos and I feel that it is in many ways a model to the rest of the country. Yes, there's some kind of order. They make you feel they have a direction, not just in terms of the economic policies and all that. They have a grip on governance. So one is not very happy that this kind of thing is happening, you know,
Lagos.
so that, it's like a coup happening in the sub-region, and you say, hey, you better nip it in the bud so that other people don't begin to emulate Mali, Burkina Faso, the rest of these renegade countries. Democracy has come to stay. Well, the thing is this, the questions that are, salient in this matter, one of them would be, what is required to remove the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly?
And who is fueling the crisis?
We're coming to who is sponsoring it. In fact, that's at the bottom of it. When you begin to hear that the security details of one got removed, you begin to hear Jacob's,
hand of Jacob, voice of Jacob, hand of Esau, or something like that.
You know, so that's the way it goes. Politicians would always be politicians. What we ask them is that when this kind of brouhaha happens among them, let it not become an impediment to governing the people on a day-to-day basis, because that would mean reneging on the promise they have made to the electorate. That's it. So let them have their time out there. It will all be settled at the end of the day.
They will all be fine.
They will. They'll be fine. They always get fine. Sometimes
and so
you
we will.
ask whether this thing is pretended to bamboozle us. You know?
Is it really about them being fine? It's about the people that they are supposed, to represent at the assembly.
That is the point.
So what happens to their statutory roles now that they are fighting themselves? What happens to the people of Lagos who should, be getting some form of...
We can't peep into what politicians do, then we go back to routine reporting and all that. But the truth is, till we empower the people, inform them enough that it is their job to question people who are supposed to be their representatives on some of the actions they take, they won't stop these things. Till the people who voted them in begin to tell them, no, you can't engage in these frivolities. The mandates you have were given to you by us.
True.
So think about us when you engage in
and then
these
while
shenanigans.
this crisis continues, and then maybe they're staying away from having sessions and all of that, will the salary stop? Will the allowances
Which
also
salary will stop?
I'm
you
just
know they
thinking.
read newspaper for this country.
No, I'm just thinking aloud. I'm just saying that's why this should not be allowed to to continue. But the story that breaks my heart this morning on the papers is this comment by the minister. Band B customers not paying enough for electricity. Now it breaks my heart because when this news broke, those on Band A were questioning if they've been getting enough power for how much they've been paying.
Exactly.
So now you want Band B to pay more. I mean, how is it about paying more or about service?
I admire the minister, a lot. Anytime I meet him in the studio, I have this. But the question you want to ask is this: is this a way of introducing a hike for them? Is it the neatest way to begin to steal onto the terrain that allows you to say you're going to pay more and all that? But at the end of the day...
Are you paying more for darkness or paying for light? What are you paying for?
You took it from my lips. At the end of the day, you're asking, what is the supply like? even with all these announcements concerning tariff hike and all that, what have we really experienced a very big improvement in power supply? Stagnation seems to still be the situation. So what is happening at the end of the day? And why is resolving Nigeria's power supply issues becoming an intractable problem? I went across the border to help resolve the question of somebody paying somebody money to bring in a car. It didn't work out. And when I crossed, I found out that the power supply over there it doesn't blink. They'll tell you that time they were paying higher than us. I think we've caught up with them now in terms of yet we are not performing the way they perform across the border there. What is wrong with us? That is the problem. Is somebody sabotaging it? Could it be people who are selling generators? I don't get it. Maybe the people who are asking us to go green now, are they sabotaging steady power supply in Nigeria since we are still generating and all that? Please, I'm not accusing these people. I'm just asking journalistic questions because obviously there's some witchcraft in the air somewhere. It's not right.
All right. We hope that...
Well said.
Witchcraft.
Words are few these days, so I try to manage. I don't want to talk for talking's sake.
It's Solomonic and
the issue in Lagos is beyond the actors that you see. Well, Chukwudi,
yes.
Thank you for being here today. We'll see you again on Monday.
Thank you, guys. And have yourselves a great weekend.
We must mention that Ramadan is around the corner. So, of course, we wish our Muslim brothers and sisters the very best this season.
Yes.
Yes, and hoping that, their prayers and supplications will be heard by Allah and to make our country better at the end of the day.
That's on the spiritual side. On the other side, affordability. The Sultan is asking traders to please have a heart so that people can afford certain things they need for this period.
Yeah.
All right. It's time to get into the conversation, and we'll do just that after this break. Please don't go away.
The NTA2 Lagos Network Center Muslim Community most respectfully invite you to the 12th Annual Malam Yusuf Jubul Ramadan Lecture. Venue, NTA2 Lagos Network Center Premises, Television House, Ahmadu Bellowe, Victoria Island, Lagos. Date, 2nd Saturday in the month of Ramadan, March 8th, 2025. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chief Host, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, Director General, Nigerian Television Authority. Principal Host, Nick Onyishi, Zonal Director, NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Spiritual Father of the Day, Sheikh Suleiman Abunola, Chief Imam of Lagos. Chairman of the Day, Alhaji Abdul Latif Femi Okunu, former National President, Ansaruddin Society of Nigeria. Guest Lecturer, Professor Abdul Kabir Olawale Paramole, Professor of Hadith, Islamic Ethics, Comparative Religion and Contemporary Studies, Lagos State University, Ojo, and Chief Missionary, Jejewiyat Muslim Association of Nigeria and Overseas. Topic, Muslims and the Economic Realities of Nigeria. Guest Lecturer 2, Alhaji Salmon Abiodun Sani, Chief Imam, Akimboro Central Mosque, Olorunshogo, Mushin, Lagos. Topic, Islamic Parenting, Antidotes to Social Challenges in Nigeria. We look forward to receiving your usual considerable response to grace the occasion. For inquiries, call 08030629590 or 08039642121.
Good morning.
Good morning. Why is your sun shining like this?
Can't you see that Harmattan season is here? We need to protect our children from this dry weather.
What about the invisible germs?
Invisible germs?
During Harmattan, it's not enough to only protect your skin. You also need protection from these invisible germs. To protect our families, we use Dettol.
Harmattan season brings a lot of germs, but Dettol with Germ Defense gives protection from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
They asked me how I came this far. I told them I had to sweat. Sweat is chasing your dreams. Sweat is never giving up. Sweat is action, but can also bring germs. That's why I use Dettol Cool Soap with 5 degrees cooling sensation. Summer heat brings body odor, but Dettol Cool protects you from 99.9% of illness-causing germs and keeps you fresh.
Hey Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying deeper, we make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than destination.
We are Nigeria, strengthened in unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Nigeria is perched on the treasure trove of solid minerals. Gold, coal, tantalum, tin, but none is more critical to our future or the world's future like lithium.
Let's talk about illegal mining operations. What is our strategy?
This Saturday, Eintracht Frankfurt Bayer Leverkusen. Watch live Eintracht Frankfurt versus Bayer Leverkusen on Sporty TV. SportyBet sponsors coverage of the German Bundesliga.
If you just joined us, you're watching Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the NTA. And just before we bring in our panel of guests for our conversation this morning, which is on safety on our roads, let's take a look at this background report put together by our correspondent Ibrahim Dan Hamidou.
Nigeria's roads are notorious for their dangers, with thousands of commuters risking their lives daily on highways and byways. The state of Nigeria's roads is a major concern, plagued by defective infrastructure maintenance, reckless driving, road rage, excessive overloading, and inadequate law enforcement. Globally, road traffic crashes remain a leading cause of death and injury. According to the World Health Organization's Global Status Report on Road Safety, approximately 1.19 million people die annually as a result of road traffic crashes, with low and middle income countries accounting for 90% of these deaths. The report also notes that road traffic crashes are the leading cause of death for children and young adults aged 5 to 29 years. Despite these challenges, the federal government has taken steps to improve road safety through the Federal Road Safety Corps. However, more needs to be done to address the root causes of this crisis. As Nigeria continues to grapple with the challenges of road safety, experts emphasize the need for effective solutions to reduce risks on the roads. They warn that thousands are involved in preventable car crashes daily. To tackle this issue, experts recommend an effective approach, including improved road infrastructure, enhanced law enforcement, and public awareness campaigns. Experts on driving and road safety will discuss practical solutions and strategies for making Nigeria's roads safer for all.
Right. Many thanks, Ibrahim Hamidu, for that background report. And to get us into the conversation on safety on Nigerian roads, let me introduce first Honey Ogundayo, Deputy Corps Commander, Corps Public Education Office, Federal Road Safety Corps. A pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you. Good morning.
Let me also welcome to the studio Aliyu Isaore, Deputy President, National Union of Road Transport Workers. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right. Also with us here for the conversation is Simon Patrick Obi, Supervisory Board Member. Yours stands for Youth for Road Safety. Many thanks for joining us, Mr. Simon.
Thank you for welcoming me. It's my pleasure to join you today.
All right.
All right. Let's get into the conversation, and let me begin with Honey. Of course, it falls at your doorstep. Road accidents remain a major concern, and this is in spite of all the interventions of the past. The numbers remain very, very high. What exactly are the key challenges that the FRSC faces with enforcing road safety regulations?
Thank you for the question, and let me appreciate NTA first for being our partner in progress, and all our other stakeholders that are here this morning. Talking about road traffic crashes is something that's it's everybody's business, because road safety on our own part, we are trying our best, and we continue to be trying our best. But what we have seen is that, when you look at it majorly, we have three causes of road traffic crashes. We have the human factor, we have the mechanical factor, and we have the environmental factor. But when you look at all the three causes, we see that the human factor carries 80%. So we are doing so much on the human aspect of it. Talking about drivers, talking about, going to meet them every day, anywhere we can see them, going for public enlightenment, just as what we are doing now. Everywhere we go to, even we go to churches, we go to mosque to go and meet with people, anywhere we can see people, even if it's one person. The only thing that we are planning to do now, maybe to be going from house to house, to go and be talking to people, because the rate at which people are being killed on the road is not acceptable to FRSC.
No, this is supposed to be, because why I asked if you face any challenges, and the challenges you face in enforcing regulations, is that I believe that regulations are there, and if you are able to enforce it, say 100% or even 90%, the road traffic, the accidents will reduce. So what challenges do you face?
Well, basically, just like I've said, the challenges we face mostly is with the drivers, the human part of it. Because somebody that, people know the right thing, but they're always waiting for somebody. Just like a driver that will just park in the middle of the road to carry passengers. Do you want to tell me that driver does not know that he's not supposed to stand in the middle of the road to carry passengers? But he will be waiting until he will see somebody like maybe road safety personnel to come and pursue him. So these are the things. We meet with so many stubborn drivers
You
on
talk
the
about
road.
right things that should be done on the road. Quickly run us through some of these right things. Besides parking on the road to pick passengers.
Okay, let's start with before you even get to drive. Before you become a driver, you must be 18 years of age, and that's for normal driving. And if you want to drive anything like articulated vehicle, those are the bigger vehicles, you must be 26 years. But what we see today, you see, like for example now, maybe a driver is driving an articulated vehicle and he has a motorboy. Maybe he's tired and he's supposed to rest. Instead of him to rest, we just give it to the motorboy to say, okay, help me push the vehicle forward. So we see that people that are not even licensed, they tend to drive at times. So it's one of the problems.
Okay. Away from licensing, talk to us about speed, state of your vehicle, and all of that.
Yes, it's very important also. You know, every day, just like I've said, we talk to people on the issue of even overspeeding. You know, everybody tends to be saying they are looking for money or but we tell them that you must stay alive to spend the money you are looking for. You know, when you go on the road, you overloaded your vehicle, you couldn't even see the back, you couldn't even, in case there's an emergency, how do you maneuver? You know, you put 2 people in the front, put 4 people at the back, you know, everybody is choked up in the vehicle. So, you know, we always say that after a ball, there's always a boy coming for it. So if you are the one that is distracted, maybe when you are driving, because you have so many people, you know, people are quarreling inside the vehicle, you are trying to look back, you are trying to change your station on your radio, you know, many things can distract a driver. So many things can happen when you are driving. So driving requires 100% concentration. So any distracted driver is also a crash waiting to happen on the road.
All right.
Now, the Nigeria road safety strategy 2021 to 2030, of course, aims to reduce road fatalities by 50%.
Yes.
How do you intend to do this? How feasible is it? Because I asked earlier, again, what challenges are there with implementation, with enforcement rather? So how do you intend to achieve this?
There are so many initiatives that we have in addressing that. Just like last year, you know, every year we have what we call strategic goals, what we tend to achieve. Like last year, we said we're going to reduce accident by 5%. That's 2024. But we later reduced accident by 10%. So it was a big pass mark on FRSC. And this year is not going to be a different year. We are planning there are so many new initiatives being brought up by our commercial, Malam Shehu Mohammed. So we have so many things in place. For example, now we have safe to load. This safe to load has been on ground, but we are re-emphasizing it. We are working on it. We are re-strategizing. Because if you continue to do the same thing the same way, you see that if there is no solution, you have to re-strategize. So many things are being done. We are going digital on most of our operations. No, everything. We are changing everything, virtually almost everything.
Okay, I understand that you're having a penalty point system, you know, which you intend to, if you like, kickstart soon. You tell us about that. But let's pause you now, Honey Ogundayo, and get to the Deputy President, National Union of Road Transport Workers, Aliyu Isaore. I'm sure you listened to Honey Ogundayo. She pointed fingers at transporters as being, you know, violators when it comes to road traffic, or if you like, road use. Speak to us really. What are the concerns of road transport workers in terms of, you know, obeying traffic rules and regulations?
Thank you, moderator. The Federal Road Safety, they are partner in progress. We work together so that we have each free on our route, most especially to eradicate the accident on our highway. But like he rightly said, the problem we are facing as a transporter on our highway is so enormous. The roads are so bad. We all know what it takes, most of our road in Nigeria. Then we have, let me categorize the cause of the accident in so many ways, but I'm going to take a few of it. For instance, climatic aspect of it, which is during the rainy season, hardly you see the front, hardly you know what is coming and what are you going to meet. But going back to his own statement that the underage people are driving the Hulich. Well, I may not believe that, because before you can be on the wheel, you have to be licensed, which is the responsibility of the Federal Road Safety and the VIO.
She's talking about
No,
when you are tired, instead of parking to rest, you hand it over to the motor boy.
No. Such a thing doesn't happen, because it's a risk against the driver. Most of these drivers are the owner of the vehicle. Some of them are the owner of the vehicle. And this big vehicle you are talking about is like 200 to 300 millions. So it is, I will not agree with that some of them are giving the motor boy. No. Once you see any motor boy driving, that means it has been licensed, because the owner will not go against jeopardize his word.
No, I agree with you. Well, the roads may be bad, yes. But of course, when roads are bad, you now take it a bit more, you become more careful in navigating bad roads, right? What do you do as a union to promote responsible driving? Because the allegation is that you encourage your drivers to overload just for the money gains.
Well, as the leader of the NURTW, you know we have multiple unions. She knows about that. We have multiple unions. But as NURTW, we have a section in our department that deal with the drivers. What they are doing is to give them enlightenment. Every Tuesday, we have what we call enlightenment in most of our park. What we are going to check is your vehicle. We check your vehicle. We check the spare tire, the rear light, the brake, all these things. We have to check it. In fact, there was a time when we are coming to the festival period. What we normally did, when you are loading from the park, before you go out, you see some gate being put on by the local government. We check if your vehicle is not worthy. Even if you have loaded, we have to offload such a thing. And it has happened in so many ways. You could remember that even if they check their statistics this year, during the festival period, they will agree with me that the crashes are lower. It is as a result of what we are doing. We are working on our own part so that to eradicate the crashes.
All right. Many thanks, Mr. Ore. Would get back to you. Let's speak of Mr. Obi now. Simon Patrick Obi, Supervisory Board Member, Youth for Road Safety. We've talked to the road transport workers. Of course, when you move away from that, you want to talk about young people. Honey Ogundayo spoke about underage driving. And even for those who are old enough to drive, we see that there's this, is it youthful exuberance to want to be at top speed? Like it's a competition on the road. Like I don't know, but speak to us. And then again, you get to see a lot of young people who would be drunk or be drinking while driving, on the road. So let us know, what are you doing? What is your organization doing about some of this, attitude of young people on the road?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on this issue. To begin, I'd like to also point out that I am involved in global road safety advocacy. And so what yours does as an organization is to promote road safety for young people. As the statistics was earlier shown, we see that young people are more victims in terms of fatality. So road traffic crashes are the leading killer of young people. And what we have been doing is to promote the inclusion of young people in decision-making discussion within road safety, because these are the demographic that bears the greatest burden of traffic crashes. And if you want to solve a problem, you want to make sure that those that are affected in the problem are seated in that, and then if you don't do that, you're not getting the results you're supposed to do. And so the discussion is promoting road safety for young people, and that includes education, that includes enforcement. Yeah, we know that young people are exuberant, they are creative, they want to try new things, they want to do stuff that is unusual. But if we educate these young people and make them understand that this thing is a risky adventure, I mean, there is need for them to begin to think differently, then you begin to see results. And I would like to say you asked an important question. What are the challenges? I think the challenge for me, having done the kind of work we've done here in Nigeria and across the globe, is that road safety is not an interesting subject. And I'll give you a very typical instance. During COVID-19, we saw that the countries of the world shut down, including Nigeria. I was in Nigeria at the time. And then I did a DEX review as a road safety advocate to compare road safety and COVID-19. And then within 2020, the statistics of those that were killed on our road were around 4,000 to 5,000 within the 2020 COVID era where they were shut down. But guess how many people that were killed by COVID, and which result to shutting down? It was just 1,000 or 2,000 plus. And then it begs the question, which is a pandemic? Is it road traffic crashes or the COVID that killed 2,000 people, while road traffic crashes killed over 4,000 to 5,000 people? And those were the statistics that we know. There are people who are killed, who are in remote villages that we don't know. And so the big thing is that road safety is not an interesting subject. The Federal Road Safety Corps is doing its best.
So how do we make it interesting?
Making interesting is by you talking about the issue. He asks on a very...
But do young people want to sit, for example, and listen to such conversations? Are there ways that you think the FRSA can, educate the young people, as in target the young people and get them, educated about this?
So the problem now, it's not the problem of the FRSA. It's a shared responsibility. She started off in our conversation that it's a collective responsibility. It's about our public safety. And they are leading on that. Yes, kudos to them. But it's not their problem, because it involves me and you and every other person, the media, the government, the political elite, the religious leader. Everyone has to get involved. And we need to start making it interesting such that it affects us. You're going to the market, you're going to school, you're going to church, you're going to anything. In fact, there are statistics that have shown that countries who do not pay attention to their road safety lose around 3 to 5% of their GDP. And if we calculate that in dollar, it is more than the annual budget of the Nigerian.
What's your assessment of causes? Why you've said, road safety, that road crashes killed more than COVID did.
Yeah.
Why do we have the alarming numbers? What's responsible? Is it at the doorstep of road safety because of, not enforcing regulations? Is it because the roads are bad? Is it because, those who use the roads, mainly the unions, don't drive responsibly? What do you attribute this alarming number to?
It's a combination of different factors. And I will start with a very easy one. First, they are not what happened between a car, two cars, or a car and a human being. It's not an accident. So we see it in Nigeria as an accident. It's something that happened, and we have no control over it. As an advocate and as a professional, it's not an accident. If you look at what a dictionary meaning of an accident is, it's an unforeseen circumstance. But what a road traffic crash is predictable, right, and avoidable if the right thing is done. That is where road safety put in the policies, they enforce and educate. If the right thing is done, then we can prevent it. So we need to...
What's the right thing?
The right thing is to do the right thing. Is to make sure you obey the traffic rules. Is to make sure that you get educated. if you need to drive, you must get educated. It's to make sure that you pay attention to whatever the Federal Road Safety says, you know. It is to make sure that we invest in road safety. Know that road safety affects every aspect of our life, our economy.
But Honey didn't admit, for instance, that there are challenges with enforcing regulations. If we say there are challenges and we know what the challenges are, and then we begin to say, okay, they need support in this area. And that's why I asked that question. What challenges do you have in enforcing regulations? I believe that the regulations are there. And if the regulations are enforced maximally, optimally, that the road traffic crashes will not be there. Am I right?
Well, if I have to answer that, let me say, I didn't say we don't have challenges. Actually, you know, talking about issue of even vehicles, you know, to buy maybe an ambulance, it runs into millions of naira. The government has been trying, they have been giving us vehicles, but we still need more.
What of manpower?
Manpower, yes. Yes, we still need more too.
Technology, is your technology up to date?
Technology.
We launched one recently that you say could help you detect, you know, to
yes. So we are going into that. So, you know, technology, we also need to invest more on technology. But actually, the government is trying, but we still need more.
All right. You know, Honey, speak to us about this penalty point system. What is that about?
Okay, penalty point system. You know, talking about issues of drivers, I said we are re-strategizing. Because if you have used this one, you go and stand on the road, you talk to them, you know, seeing a driver committing an infraction on the road today, and they say, okay, maybe you just talk to the driver, probably you don't want to arrest, because we also do what we call a free safety check on the road, that we don't arrest them, we just talk to them. You're also aware that we do public education, we go to everywhere, we go to parks to go and meet them. So assuming we are not even arresting them, we just talk to them. Okay, you have spoken to somebody today. Oh, see your side mirror. You don't have side mirror. The person say, oh, please, madam, tomorrow I will fix it. It just got broken now. No, after about a week, you see the same person with that same broken side mirror. Or maybe the person is not even having a wiper or fire extinguisher. You know, you can say many other things. So what we are not going to do now is that, you know, after, you know, maybe we didn't arrest you initially. Then the next time, say, okay, no, I have to arrest you for this because, you know, it has to do with lives. We are trying to save lives. So go and get this one done. Maybe, you know, we wrote bookings for the person to go and pay. You know, some of them, mostly either commercial or even private people, when you tell them, okay, you are not using your seatbelt, your fine is 3,000 naira. You know, somebody can just say, 3,000, can I pay you now? But we are telling people it's not about the money. It's about attitudinal change. We want them to change. So if you say that people are not changing, so that's the essence of this penalty code now. So if you have been arrested for a particular time and you have gotten 15 points, it's warning. After between 15 to 20 points, that one is suspension of your driver's license. But anything from 21 and above, it will be withdrawal of your license, because we can't allow people to be killing people on the road. These are avoidable deaths that we have on the road. It's alarming.
You know, for me, or, you know, for a lot of Nigerians, would not want to quickly put the blame on the FRSC, because you want to ask yourself, would the FRSC be with you everywhere? Are they supposed to be on the highway monitoring you, how you drive, what you do? It's about the individual. It's about the driver, knowing that you have a responsibility. And that brings me to the road transport workers. Because imagine a driver, you know, driving a bus that can take, say, 12, 14 passengers. If there's a crash, it's just one driver, and you have 12 or 14 people who are going to be involved in that accident. And, I mean, their families and all of that, you know, having to go through whatever it is that would come out of that particular accident. On your part, what are you doing, you know, to instill that sense of responsibility on the drivers? You know, I mean, you can't, the FRSC are not, they're not spirits. They can't, I mean, they can't check everything. They can't be there to tell you, oh, do not overtake when you're about going through a bend, or this is the speed limit and all. It's about you checking yourself and knowing that you owe your passengers a responsibility to keep them safe and get them to their destination safely. Are you doing that? Are you ensuring that those who drive are responsible people, not just people who are there, I mean, just for the, I mean, whatever it is, whatever reasons?
Well, madam, the causes of accident does not lie on the commercial driver alone.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, in most cases, the private operator caused some accident. We all believe that. But on our own part, we used to enlighten our member. We let them know the importance of driving from one place to another. In fact, we said, whoever drives a motor from one place to another safely, we call a real driver. You forgetting about how many years you have been practicing the driving, but once you are driving from one place to another and you are able to reach that destination successfully,
Safely, yeah.
you are a driver. We have been, like I've told you here, leader, we used to check on our own part. We used to check the vehicle. In fact, if the Federal Road Safety check the statistics very well, yeah, most of the causes are not from. I didn't say we don't have our own lapses, but our lapses we are trying to correct them. Like what we are seeing on the screen. The overspeeding does not lie on the NURT or commercial driver all alone. In fact, some people who are not supposed to be on the way, they were carrying, like some underage young lady who is not even agile to carry a driver. You just see him on the road, on most of our highway. He does, at times, it's afraid. Maybe he was nervous. That is what caused this, some of the accident. And in most cases, we try to enlighten our people, like I've always said. You see, most of these accidents, let me take for instance, the lorry, those who carry cow and other things from the part of northern hemisphere to other region. You see, we advise them. I want to give advice on this. If there is an accident on this, you know, once we have an accident, those who are on the top of this thing, they are going to die. Let us, Nigeria, not only the road safety, make the royal father in those areas. Because this thing happens mainly from the northern part of the country. Hardly you see somebody from the east or from the west be on top of the vehicle and start coming to the north. You all agree with me that it started from the north. So when we take this campaign to the royal father, because from my observation, the northerner have the respect for the royal father. Let us, so that he will advise them to desist from this habit. The lorry is meant to carry the cow and other foodstuff down to east or but human being will be on top, more than 50. And if the accident happen, in fact, in most cases, the animal will not die, but those who are on top of the vehicle will die. So I want to give advice so that it will be noted.
All right, thank you. Let me get back to Simon. Now, earlier he mentioned bad roads. I agree. Roads should be good, motorable and smooth. But I give you an example. The airport road is smooth. It's a road I use very often. The airport road is smooth. It is wide. There is no week that you don't find an accident on the airport road. I don't want to say no day. There is no week. Once you get to particularly Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes you just see a vehicle lying on its roof, and you wonder what happened here. You could see another vehicle, on top of the other. What happened? Or you see one inside, just in the middle of the road. How did he get there? This road is wide enough. How did he get there? So, what do you think is responsible for all of this? Certainly not bad roads.
Yes.
And what can be done?
Very easy. And I would also answer that question by giving you a scenario. Lagos is about the largest
city in Africa. Over 26 million official record. Abuja is around 10, I don't know, but it's less than Lagos. We have more people in Lagos. You would expect that more people die in Lagos, right? Especially the busy road, right? People commute one. But the shocking revelation is that we have more people killed on Abuja Road.
So why?
And Abuja has one of the best road network, while Lagos does not. And it's easy. It's such that when a road is neat, clear, the tendency of people to speed is there. And speeding is the leading cause of crash, right? And the answer is simple. There are 5 pillars of road safety. We have road safety management. We have safer road that talks about the road management. We have safer road users that our madam has talked about the attitude of road user. We have post-crash response. We have safer vehicle. These are the 5 pillars of road safety. And for you to achieve good result, you have to walk around these, pillars. You don't have to. And speeding, the global advocacy, last week, ministers of the world gathered in Morocco. I was a speaker during the 4th Global Ministerial Conference, and the discussion was around road safety. And what is the problem? The problem is that speeding is killing people. What you're seeing in Abuja Airport Road is that the road is free and people speed. And because people speed, when you speed, you have little control of your vehicle. Because at that point, any little mistake, you veer off the road.
All right, thank you.
Let's
Sorry,
get to
I want her to now, since he's pegged it, on speeding. What exactly is the FRSC doing about speed?
Okay, thank you very much. Excuse me. Please, I also want to say something about that airport road. I want to paint a scenario. We have bridges, overhead bridges for pedestrian. But what you see is that pedestrian will prefer to cross the road instead of climbing the bridges. And now, most of the vehicles that are coming on a speed are not aware, probably, that, okay, maybe somebody will try to cross the road. Before you know it, we see that almost, just like you said, every week. But what do?
I'm talking vehicle to vehicle.
Now, okay, you are talking vehicle to vehicle. You talked about weekends. Now, you and I know what happens during weekends. We have parties.
I'm not aware.
We have people going for parties, occasions, clubbing, and the rest. Now, what we tell people, if you know that you want to drive, must you drink? Don't drink and drive. Don't drink alcoholic drinks when you want to drive. But that's what we see most of the time. But finally, maybe some friends, some group of friends, maybe they are like 3 or 4, they try to go to a party, and the owner of the vehicle is already drunk. But the friend is supposed to prevail on him to say, oh boy, you're not going to be the one to drive. But because he's the owner of the vehicle, we tell them, no, I'm the one going to drive. So, but what we are still talking about is attitudinal change for people. You know that this thing can cost your life. It can cost your life. It can cost other people's lives. So please, when you are, you should just know what you are doing on the road.
What really is overspeeding? Tell us, what is the limit that the FRSC tags as overspeeding? 1. 2. I remember there was a time the FRSC launched the speed limiting device.
Yes.
What happened to that initiative? Because I think at that time we were told that it was going to be installed on vehicles, and then it could check the driver. I mean, if you overspeed, the vehicle stops, something like that. What happened to that initiative? Then what are you doing? You're talking about overspeeding. There's also the fact that there are bad examples everywhere. There's a governor or there's a minister plying that same route, and he's overspeeding. So the person behind is thinking, oh, well, let's just go the same way. So what are you doing to check, government officials, or if you like, big people who overspeed and, of course, set wrong examples for Nigerians?
Okay, maybe I should pick it from the last one. Talking about speeding on the highways and maybe government officials, let me first of all say that crashes does not know, maybe I'm even a road safety personnel, or maybe somebody is a doctor, or somebody is a government official. So everybody needs to take it easy on the road. And I think there is something being put in place now, because all these government officials, you see that most of them is road safety that might be driving the vehicle in front. to lead them. So just to know that you need to lower your speed. So because gone are the days when people just speed anyhow on the road, because anybody can just die just like that, even through the fault of another person. So please, we are encouraging even government officials that don't just drive, don't allow your drivers to drive recklessly on the road. It can lead to crashes, and most of the time the drivers that causes this problem, they are always alive. The innocent people are the ones that might just die during the course of that. So then concerning speed limiting device, it's still in place. It's in place. You know, we continue to do continuous advocates education to people, enlightenment, because some people, they feel that, oh, speed limiting device, if I install it on my vehicle, in case, the example they used to give is that most of the time, in case armed robber is pursuing me. But we tell them that the advantages overshadow the disadvantages. So it's not all the time that you get armed robbers to pursue you, but due to youthful exuberance or people looking for money, you tend to want to engage in excessive speeding on the road. Or maybe somebody wants to overtake you. You see that it's a smaller vehicle. You say, don't you know this is my own vehicle? How much did I buy my vehicle? How much is your vehicle? People to do as if they are in a competition on the road. And we say, the road is not a racetrack. So please, if you're on the road, if somebody wants to overtake you...
I thought the speed limiting device was compulsory for, public transporters. Did the FRSA enforce it?
Yes,
because now you're speaking like it's optional.
No, it's not optional. It's not optional. What I'm saying is that some people up till now, they still feel that, why should I install it on my vehicle?
So what has the FRSA done to those people?
Yes, we do enforcement on that. We do enforcement and continuous advocacy visits to them, and public enlightenment. And then talking about speed, you are talking about speeding and what is the right speed for a particular road. I will tell you the common sense speed. Because if I have told you that, okay, 80 kilometers per hour on this particular road, then if it's raining, and you say, because road safety have said it's 80 kilometers per hour, I must still engage in the 80 kilometers per hour. Or maybe you get to a place that, you just have plenty people there, and you say, I must still engage in the particular. So now what we're advocating is common sense speed limits. When you see that, oh, this particular place is like this, please reduce your speed. We tell you that you are speeding, engaging in excessive speeding, and I myself that is going on a normal speed, we get to the same place almost at the same time. Maybe 1 minute or 5 minutes difference before we get to the same place that we are going. So the right thing is for people to have the right mindset, have attitudinal change, and know that, a life you save today might be yours. If you just kill somebody that's supposed to be maybe a doctor that will still, take care of you when you're in the hospital, when we start having this mindset, a new mindset, a changed mindset, attitudinal change to know that, okay, where are we going, safe? Where are you actually going?
Now, in other climes, you have crazy drivers everywhere.
Yes.
And that's why the figure is not limited to Nigeria. Contributes to the global, alarming figure that we have globally. 1 million every year or more than that. If awareness is a big part of this whole thing, and I agree so, what happens in other climes when people break traffic regulations? They know that they have to pay for it. They know they will be apprehended. They know that their licenses could be suspended. They know that it could be withdrawn. Is road safety doing its part beyond creating awareness in enforcement? Or is the institution challenged, of course, like many other institutions, where people have said weak institutions are a big problem for Nigeria? Is it the case for road safety?
We've mentioned this before, and I talked about, we mentioned about technology. You talked about other clients, maybe where they have this camera, and when you are just going, the camera will just capture your vehicle. We shall get there. It's a process, and I believe that the leadership, the crop of leadership of FRSA now, they are doing so much in that area, to digitalize all our operational services and the rest, and to get more equipment. For example, now, we shall get there one day when somebody will just commit an infraction and the person will think, I've gone away with it. I will just call you or just bring the receipt to you at home. We shall get there. It's part of what we are advocating for, but we shall get there.
All
It's a process.
All right.
You want to say, okay,
Yes.
he wants to add to that.
Yes, you are asked a very important question. I also live in the US, so I drive. I got my license a couple of months back. And what happened over there is that there are systems, they are developed, they are richer than our nation, right? They are developed, but despite the development, we also see infraction over there. I think the thing is, the point basis that our madam has mentioned, they enforce it. I mean, if you're caught driving, if you're caught under the influence, which is one of, it's a very big offense, your license is withdrawn. But I like to say that the biggest problem to this is interest. If we bring the kind of urgency that we brought to COVID and see that this thing kill more of our people, not just kill, it destroy our valuable infrastructure, which is the road we spent so much to build, the human being, the economic, attribution, that it cost us. If we place that premium, then we'll begin to invest. You've asked Madam here what are the challenges? Of course, she's worked with the governor. You don't really expect her to come here and say this and this. But I work side by side with them, and I know the challenges. The challenges is not limited to them. These people are underfunded.
Okay.
Yes, they need to be strengthened in terms of funding, because this is a critical sector that powers our economy. This is a critical sector that will be responsible for the prosperities of our nation. It's a critical sector that will save life. A lot of people are permanently disabled today as a result of crashes. A lot of families are out of school. A lot of children are out of school. A lot of children they have early pregnancy because their parent, their dad, they lost him to crashing. And so there is need to invest in road safety. There is need to increase their budgetary allocation. There is need to understand that this is a critical aspect of our economy. When we invest in this aspect, we're investing in the prosperities of our nation. In terms of remuneration, in terms of technology, in terms of, the infrastructural development. And so these are the issues. We want that kind of urgency that is brought upon issues such as COVID, which did not kill as much people as road traffic right. Let that urgency be brought into road safety. When we begin to see that urgency, then we begin to see results. People begin to find road safety interesting. And also, when our leader begins to do well, imagine the president or a high profile getting to a traffic light and stop. And he does that on camera, and all the ministers do the same. And they maintain speed limit, in high-risk places such as marketplaces, business places, school zone, 30 kilometers, because that is the global standard. 30 kilometers in high risk. Imagine all of them do this thing. And every day in Nigeria, just like me and you, we watch them do this. We will learn. Everyone will learn. So that leadership, there is need to be that leadership set in place.
Away from leadership and bad examples, you spoke earlier. You said road safety is uninteresting to the young person, and I'm thinking, how can we actually target the young person? I mean, someone is going to be 18 this year, and probably going to get the keys to a car to start driving. How do we get them to be properly educated? Because I think to some point, some Nigerians just get into their cars without enough knowledge of what it means to be on the road.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to the FRSC now? As to, is it about just going to motor parks? Is it about just having jingles? I mean, how many people are interested in all of that? What kind of educational programs should they be having? Should they be on TikTok? Should they be on Instagram? Just so that they can reach these young people and be able to get them attracted to the message.
Yes. So I wouldn't advise road safety directly, because I know them. I work side by side, and I see the challenge. I've done this for like a decade doing this, so I understand the challenge. But what I would say is that the government should pay more attention in terms of investment. Invest more on road safety. Give them give them more budgetary allocation. And then on the other hand, road safety should begin to do program around catching young people. Go on TikTok, talk about road safety. Make road safety interesting. It's in Morocco, yours gathered about over 200 people around 70 nations of the world during the World Youth Assembly on road safety. And the biggest question we are asking is, how do we make road safety interesting for young people? But it's not a problem of young people, even though young people are mostly affected. You know, young people are from families. If I'm a father and I lost my young children, I mean, it affects me, right? So it's a collective responsibility. So first, it has to start with budgetary allocation, and secondly, federal road safety would begin to design. They know what to do. They know. It's just that they are constrained. You know, I believe they know. The current leadership know what to do. From what I've seen so far, you know, working across the globe and also working in Nigeria, they know what to do, but they're really challenged.
You know, I'm thinking you'd respond, honey, I'd like you to speak about, you know, we talked about education being very critical in all of this, because I mean, if you understand what it means to be on the road, you know, it will guide you and we'll probably have less crashes. You know, speak to us about the driving schools, because I know that before you get your driver's license for the first time, you're supposed to bring like a certificate that you had gone through a driving school. Do you check these driving schools to be sure that, you know, they are doing the right thing? Because, I mean, there are stories that people just go get certificates, I mean, they without being trained or without even practicing or learning how to drive in the first place. What are you doing about that?
Thank you very much. Before I go to that driving school, let me quickly talk about our activities in catching them young. You know, we go to schools, primary schools, nursery schools, to go and teach them about road safety, so to make it interesting for them. And you see that we are even gaining something out of it, because you see some children, when their parents are trying to drive anyhow or recklessly, or maybe they didn't use their seat belt, say, oh, daddy, you didn't use your seat belt, or mommy, or why are you carrying two people? You know, children, they can say some things, you know, innocently, but they are passing a message. So we do that. We go to schools to go and enlighten them, catching them young. Now, talking about driving schools, you know, somebody must be 18 years. We are not talking about the stature now. You know, some people, you know, children of nowadays, you see a 14-year-old child, you know, so as huge as myself. And that child believes that, okay, because I'm as huge as this, I'm supposed to be driving. It's wrong. We need to tell parents like that, because you are exposing them to a lot of risk. You know, driving comes with maturity. You must mature even in mind before you can say you want to drive. Now, talking about driving schools, we have some accredited driving schools, and we check them. You know, some people, they tend to want to cut corners, you know, to say, okay, this, but it's at their own risk. We tell people, you know, even learning driving at home, you know, of recent, I think that was about 3 days ago, we saw that 100 level students that the boyfriend was teaching how to drive crushed another, you know, I think part 4 students to death in Delta State. It was in the news about 3 days ago. So we are saying that don't say because you have a vehicle at home, you want to start teaching somebody. And those people, it's all shades of wrong, because the so-called driver that was teaching the lady driving was teaching her around 10 p.m. in the night. You continue to wonder, 10 p.m. in the night, trying to teach somebody how to drive, and the girl is in 100 level. We wouldn't know, maybe that girl is even up to 18. So these are the things that we are saying, you know, it's a concerted effort. Everybody must come together, all the stakeholders, even individuals, everybody. That is responsibility of everybody to do the right thing. No, if you are the one that just go and be operating a driving school that is not certified, and you just give people, maybe some people just pay some money, just give them, know that you are also contributing to crashes on the road. Because if you give somebody that is not that does not really know how to drive, or did not pass through the 26 session, and say, oh, because he has been driving before, you know, there are so many things that we teach you in driving school. How to reverse, the road signs. Some people, if you show them the road signs, they don't even know. Traffic lights, some people don't even know the meaning. You see people breaking all different rules, you know, learning discipline.
All right.
How to maintain the lane.
We'll get back to all of this. There's still a lot to talk about. Plus, when we return, we'll let Issa have his own say on what needs to be done. We'll take a break now and return to the conversation afterwards. Please don't go away.
They ask me how I came this far. I told them I had to sweat. Sweat is chasing your dreams. Sweat is never giving up. Sweat is action, but can also bring germs. That's why I use Dettol Cool Soap with 5 degrees cooling sensation. Summer heat brings body odor, but Dettol Cool protects you from 99.9% of illness-causing germs and keeps you fresh.
Welcome to Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis, a TV series dedicated to aging and older persons in Nigeria. Be part of this series and discover the transformative programs crafted to give a new lease of life to our senior citizens, courtesy of the National Senior Citizen Center.
The National Senior Citizen Center is the oasis for the senior citizens.
For thought-provoking discussions on aging, geriatric social care, and issues that matter most to our senior citizens.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Tune in to Silver Oasis on the network service of the NGA every Saturday at 10:05 p.m. Silver Oasis, improving the quality of lives of senior citizens.
The business environment, to be honest with you, has been extremely hard on most Nigerian women's businesses, and of course harsh for a number of reasons. There is no way you would increase or move a subsidy and increase the price of fuel that it doesn't have the counter effect. It has been very challenging for so many women. I know that a lot of them have cried in one way or the other to us to find ways of intervening. But that is not to say that it is all doom and gloom. We will still have a few percentage of women that are thriving in this economy, but we hope that we'll be able to get a larger percentage. One of the things I've seen with even our local purchases now is that people are buying more made in Nigerian options of food, of clothing, and so on and so forth than the imported. So that again is helping some of our industries thrive. Surprisingly, the telecommunications is still doing well, and the reason is very simple. A lot of people are going for online options of skills in terms of training, communications, even remote working. And so you will see that people that provide services around those areas also thrive. But I think at the end of the day, it's about partnerships, collaboration, and influencing power from especially the private sector and even the public sector. But we really need the public sector to drive a number of things, especially policies, because the public sector has the national spread above even whatever we can do in our own small way. What has happened over the years is that even the government, for example, is being pulled from different angles by all these stakeholders. We need to harness ourselves to have strategic focus areas, and we should all be moving in the same direction, not using a competitive approach, but a collaborative approach. Secondly, in collaboration, we need to move with large clusters of decision makers. Instead of, the process of reaching out to individuals is painstakingly long and it takes time. And so we need to engage these stakeholders on a larger platform. I think it's very important to identify where you can get help in your own little way. And one of the things I've realized is that when you operate a silo, it is difficult for you to lift yourself out of the situation. Identify ways you can do what you are doing in a simpler way. And if what you are doing is no more profitable, why not find out what can you do in the meantime that will help you? You need to think outside the box and then connect. What you can do is also identify people and become a cluster to provide a service that ordinarily you cannot do alone.
This Sunday, live on Sporty TV. Atletico de Madrid versus Athletic Club. Watch live on Sporty TV. Brought to you by SportyBet. Play with champions. This Sunday, live on Sporty TV. Roma. Como. Roma versus Como. Live on Sporty TV. SportyBet sponsors coverage of the Italian Serie A.
Welcome back. It's still Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA. Our guests are still very much those who are talking about safety on Nigerian roads. We'll get to Aliyu Isa Ore now, the Deputy President, National Union of Road Transport Workers. While Honey was responding to a previous question, you wanted to respond, so you can have your say now.
Thank you, Madam. Like we have rightly said, not only the monetary aspect of it, the federal road station were lacking. They were not independent. You know, Madam tactically dodged a question you threw to her, that can a road safety arrest an elite? She even said that in most cases, in government convoy, their team lead is wrong. Tactically, no. She only dodged it. And we need to say the truth if we want to have the headway. They are not independent. They are under a supervisory ministry. We are talking of the airport route that almost every day we have crashes in that area. And what are the causes? And the cause is not far-fetched. The cause is that we have excess speeding. Road safety were there in almost 2 to 3 kilometers. We see a road safety officer there. But who are the users of that road? They are elite, minister, governor, PAMSEC, which they cannot arrest. But I would have advised that we have a camera there, whereby a system will be practiced that once you overspeeding, the camera will just send this thing to your house, like we have in advanced country. This will check them. No any government official will stop for the federal road safety unless you want to. But she cannot say that. I didn't mean the FRS were independent, just like judiciary, local government. If they have their own autonomy, that nobody can tell. It could have been a different thing entirely. So I want to say it categorically that road safety are trying, but this thing is not yet.
They are handicapped.
They are handicapped. They are.
You mean that at least you've talked about technology?
Yes.
We need to get technology to work more. That's one area that they need improvement. And they also need, to strengthen the institution itself so that it can do more than it is doing at the moment.
Yes.
Simon, do you agree?
I agree 100%. This is the very first time I'm agreeing with NURTW. Thank you so much for speaking the truth. And again, like we were saying before the break, it's a combination of, I do research global road safety. I work with Johns Hopkins, the evidence are there. There are countries that have gotten this right.
All right, many thanks. Simon, I have to pause you because we need to join our colleague who is in Ibadan at the moment. Chief Mrs. Adenike Agbaje Williams, Africa's first face on television, passed on some days ago. And we have Grace Ayanleke. She's at the residence of the deceased, and she has an update for us. Grace, speak to us. What is happening right there at this time, and what are the people of Ibadan, those sympathizers who have come to pay their last respect to Mrs. Adenike Agbaje Williams saying?
Yes, at the Idishin Jericho residence of the Africa's first lady of the tube, Chief Mrs. Anike Agbaje Williams. It's quiet here because the late Chief Mrs. Anika Gbaje Williams, in the later part of her life, lived a very quiet life, and that is being reflected in what is going on here. At the moment, there are no first callers, there are no sympathizers at the house. Everywhere is quiet. It's business as usual here. But when we arrived, we saw a family member who told us that they are going to the mortuary to make some arrangements, and they hope to join us in subsequent bulletins and give us a brief of our last moments and just tell us about the life and times of this woman who has lived a life of legacy, being the first face on television in Africa and the first voice on commercial radio in Africa as well.
All right, many thanks, Grace. We intend to, reconnect with you some other time, I'm sure, in the course of our broadcast today to get more updates of what's happening right there. But thank you so much for letting us know, the situation. And, of course, may the soul of Chief Mrs. Adenike Agbaje Williams rest in perfect peace. Everyone in broadcasting, mourns her loss. Many thanks, Grace, once again. All right, so we'll continue the conversation.
Yeah, Simon.
Yes, it is to get road safety right and to reduce the number of fatality and injury associated to it. It's a combination of, like we said, education, enforcement, and the enforcement doesn't have to do with human being. We don't have to see, officers standing on the road. The world has gone past that. There are technology that can do that. Cameras take, when you're speeding, a camera just take a screenshot and send you a ticket to your house, So we want to start, we need to start seeing those happen before, as we get results. And then the government also, stakeholders also need to lead by example. They need to lead by example. That is critical. And in terms of implementing all of this, the Federal Road Safety Corps cannot do this with the budget they currently operate with, and so there is need for investment. There is need to invest in them, increase their budgetary allocation. That way, they are able to implement some of these processes and achieving results.
All right, thank you, Simon. Now, there's one part that hasn't been mentioned at all since we began this conversation, and that is the part of officers. Whether you like it or not, the Federal Road Safety Corps is a part of Nigeria. You have people who also do not play by the rules within your ranks. What are you doing to ensure that officers maintain the highest ethical standards? Because every now and then you could see a road safety official being carried by a vehicle away, and you are wondering, how did he get there? How did he get on the vehicle? Or you see one who has entered a vehicle, you just jump in a vehicle and they start taking you away and you start shouting, oh, they are taking you away. How did you get there? What should be the operating standard, and how are you trying to ensure that your officers live by those?
Okay, thank you very much. One of the policy thrusts of our Corps Marshal is training and retraining and, professionalism. So let me also inform you that, at every point in time, we undergo training, either in-house or even outside the country, just to make our officers professionals. Just like you said, all the people working in road safety, they were gotten from the society. And I must not fail to mention that the management of FRSA have zero tolerance for bribery on the road. So if there's anybody that goes on the road doing the wrong thing, the person is on his or her own. When you collect bribe, there are some repercussions. And people that are doing the wrong thing on the road, maybe to go and stand in front of a vehicle or on the bonnet, but you ask yourself too, the driver, some drivers, maybe somebody is even controlling traffic. Then you are using vehicle to push the person because the person has not directed your own path to go. It's very wrong too. So, but on the part of the management, training and retraining to make everybody professional to do the right thing on the road is always important.
I remember that the Corps Marshal was here maybe last year, and he talked about an app that was supposed to help check, road safety officials, such that if I have the app installed in my phone and road safety official is doing the wrong thing, I could, report via that app.
Yes.
How is that app going?
Yes, it's a one-stop shop app that you have everything there. You want to check maybe your license, you want to check all this is there.
Is it effective now?
Yes, it's effective. It's a one-stop shop. All our processes, all our services are there. You can check. Don't forget to also that we too, you see our men on the road, they have the body camera. As you are trying to capture them, due to they are capturing you, because some people, they will be so violent on the road. When they now come to the office, they will just be doing, I didn't do anything for the man, or the man was just doing. Then we also show you the video of yourself, how you have been, doing on the road too. So, but that app, I think everybody should go and get it. It's a one-stop shop.
Tell us, how do we get it?
Okay, if you go to Google Play Store,
okay,
yes, you see it there. You just download it.
What is it called?
FRIC mobile app.
Okay.
Yes.
Just download it.
Yes.
So how does it function? If it's just an app on the phone.
Just like other apps that you have. For example, now you have WhatsApp. You say, how does WhatsApp? When you click on it, you just look at exactly what you are looking for. All those things are there. Driver's license. Even this driving school, you see it there. Okay. National Traffic Radio is there. Everything.
Okay.
Number plates.
Oh, it's because she linked it to capturing. That's why I asked her how it functions.
You can also use it for that. I think I remember.
Yes,
FRSC
you
mobile
can also
app.
that emergency number there in case you see something on the road. Just like you were saying that time, that we cannot be everywhere at the same time. We also need the input of people. Maybe you are going on a particular road and you meet with a crash. Yes, you can also quickly let us know.
Do you have a monitoring team that monitors your personnel on the roads?
Of course, we do. We do. Yes.
All right, let's get to Aliyu Isara as we begin to round up this conversation. Earlier, you spoke about transporters who load vehicles and animals in the same, truck, or if you like. I've even seen a taxi, and the boot was opened. There were animals and there were humans.
There's a Yoruba name
He's
for
strong.
it. Ken Romero.
He's strong.
Okay, no, but
a taxi is meant to carry passengers,
not to carry animals.
No.
Good.
Strong.
And I just know that. I also know that recently there was a limit to the volume of petroleum products that could be carried by trucks. Right? Is there a limit to what trucks can carry in terms of goods? Say you're transporting whatever it is, maybe tomato or cement. Is there a limit? Because maybe the FRS official would tell me better. Is there a limit a truck should carry that would help the driver control that vehicle adequately? Because the issue of a truck, failing brake, like you would hear most of the time, or ramming into other cars, is also another issue. And then I thought there was supposed to be a time limit for such vehicles to be on the road. Please speak to us about that.
You see, every truck you are seeing on most of our highway, it has a categories. The one with 8 tires, it has a limit of good it's supposed to carry. The one with 12 is higher than that, the one of 8 and the one of 6. So that is how it is. Just like a petroleum product. You see 50 liter is quite different from 45 to 30 liters. That is the same way. There is a limit for a truck, how many good, the weight of the good they are supposed to be carried.
You think it's been adhered to?
Some are not. Some are not. Like the first example, the previous example I told you about those who carry animals at the top of the vehicle, they carry human being, which is wrong. So these are part of the thing. We are having a crisis on our highway because the lorry itself has become an overloading. When you carry about 50 animals, which you are supposed to carry, at the end of the day, you carry about 40 to 50 people on top of the vehicle. Definitely it has become an overloading.
All right, Annie, maybe you want to speak to us on some other aspects. Yes,
I want to talk about re-emphasize what he has just mentioned. This issue of carrying goods and animals together with human beings. We have seen sadly that most crashes that occur, those people on top of that height, the vehicle will just fling them. Maybe the vehicle mistakenly enter into a pothole. Before you know it, we have so many casualties. So we are appealing to people: don't carry goods, animals, and loads. Human beings are meant to be inside the vehicle. And what we have seen, after those crashes, unfortunate crashes, when you search these people, you see money in their pockets. It's not that they don't have money, but I think it's a mindset that maybe they feel that it's a waste of money or whatever. So we are appealing to them, people that are doing it, to stop it. I also want to bring us back to the issue of Jigawa, that unfortunate crash that happened on the 15th of October, that we have over 200 people were burnt to death. And most likely these people that were scooping fuel. So we must also appeal to them that in case you see any tanker fell like that, it's not for you. Run against it as fast as your leg can take you. Don't run towards that crash, because it can lead to an explosion. People will go there with phones. Some people will even come there with motorbikes. Some people will come there with pills.
Is there a
pills.
time limit for such vehicles, articulated vehicles, to be on the road? Or they could be on the road any time of the day?
Well, that one has not been established by the government. That one is a policy.
Okay, but what's FRSC thinking about that?
And the thing is, is a dicey situation, because if you say, okay, let them have a particular time.
It depends on the state.
To be on the road.
It depends on the
At
state.
that particular time too, you still see that there are some other people moving on the road. So what we are saying is that let's have attitudinal change. Make up your mind. Just like talking about the liters of fuel you're supposed to take now. Some people take above that. Some people, they don't have this safety valve, so that in case there is even a crash or man leads, there's something we call safety valve, and this man lead, it will, in case there is a crash, the product will not spill on the road, so that it will just remain like that. And people will not even have access to go and be saying, let us go and scoop fuel. So people that are scooping fuel, please tell your children not to do it. Explain to other people, because people don't really know. They will think, I want to quickly make some money, but that money might
All right, we need to round off. Simon Patrick, your final words as we round off the conversation.
Well, to get road safety interesting, we need to reframe how we talk about road safety. Road safety is not just a transportation issue, it's a public health issue. It is a development issue. It has some type of economic issue. That is my advocacy. And on the part of road safety, we've also seen issues where some of their personnel are unprofessional. I've praised them for their activities, but there is need to also talk about issues when some of them are not professional in their line of duty. But also begs on that is as a result of the limited funding they have to improve the capacity of those personnel. Perhaps they want to also focus more on technology, as we've seen in other climes of the world.
Speak to young people.
Yeah, speak to young people and use technology to enforce road safety, as we see in every other part of the world. It's unfortunate that in only Africa we see personnel standing on the road to enforce the road. That is risky. That is risky to the personnel, and it's not recommended.
All right.
Technology can do that.
Thank you. And finally, 30 seconds, your final word.
Remember, when you are driving, don't drink, and when you drink, don't drive. Please obey the traffic rule, obey the road safety fee, all the law enforcement agents on our way. Thank you.
All right,
Please,
Deputy.
before you go finally, let me just tell people about our emergency number, toll-free number, 122. In case there's any crash.
122.
Yes.
And drive like you're the only sane person on the road, right? That still remains.
Deputy Corps Commander, Corps Public Education Office, Federal Road Safety Corps, Honey Ogundayo, many thanks for coming on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you so much.
Let me also thank Aliyu Isaure, Deputy President, National Union of Road Transport Workers. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
And for your insights. And finally, but by no means the least, Simon Patrick Obi, Supervisory Board Member, Youth for Road Safety, yours. Many thanks for your time on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so that's Good Morning Nigeria this Friday, the very last for the week, the last for the month. I mean, I'm super excited. Have a great weekend. I'm Ian John, live locked on the NTA.
And I am Victor Azo, weekend rendezvous after this time out. We'll see you on Monday.